Good morning, YouTube. Well, I was really wanting to get started on the old John Deere, the 28 John Deere D, but here I am in front of the McCormick 1530, and I figured I'd want to start opening some of this up so I can, take a look and see how bad the pistons are, and then just maybe throw something in there to make sure she's soaking up, and just take a good look at it, and then I'll just let her sit. But so far I pulled off this water pipe off the side of the block, as you can see, right full of rust. This hose, almost 100 years old, I guess, missing one clamp, but it was just totally rotten. I just pulled it apart with a screwdriver, broke it apart. It's in pretty bad shape. Easy enough to replace. We'll clean this out. But they held this together with one bolt going in through the center of this pipe and bolted to the block. And what we got here is the remainder of the bolt. It's pretty much corroded down to nothing. It just kind of broke right off. So we'll have to see if we can get the end of it out of the block. This pipe here leads down into the radiator, and it comes off of this opening in the block, and that's where we got the remainder of that bolt. But it's right chock full of rust and debris. So I'm going to get the vacuum working and see if I can clean that stuff up. Okay, we got the pipe that comes out of the block, and the opening in the block is cleaned out, but it's a lot of internal passages. Gonna have to work at that. Plus down in here, I don't know if we can see down in there, it's pretty well opened up. My magnetic mount is just gonna interfere. Yeah, it's cleaned up down there right to the bottom of the where it bolts to the casting of the radiator. So okay, now we got that cleaned up. Next is this carburetor. Going to take that off, and the manifolds, including the water jacket up there. I see it's broke and repaired over here, but going to remove that and the tapper cover and the head and everything, and see what we got inside the pistons. Okay, first off, I already tried to take it off of the gas tank, but I'll need a line wrench to do that. So we'll take this, I figured this would break open fairly easy. I'm going to just take the gas line off, and then might as well take the sediment bowl right off, and then we'll take the carburetor off. that's the intake and the exhaust manifold right off. Interesting, these bolts don't seem to have lock washers on them. Okay, that's my exhaust manifold. These are exhaust ports. They're full of dirt, rust, and debris. These are the intake ports. These 4 are the exhaust ports. So we're going to continue. We'll take off this water jack. I'm going to see if I can take out these 2 gas cups. That's what you got to pour gas in to start it. If you're priming it, I guess back in the day, that's what you did. I already had the tappet cover off earlier, a few months ago, and looked inside. It looked pretty good. There's all the rocker arms. Of course, I did pour diesel fuel on them, but they never were rusty. So they're all looking pretty good. Got these oil trays up on top. Sends oil underneath the trays into the little holes at the rockers. And that's what oils the rockers. Just taking the choke. It's just a wire that's been bent and shaped, and it goes through the gas tank mount, and the firewall or the dash plate goes in and operates the choke on the carburetor. It's just a bent wire made to fit. But to set tension on it, they got a little thumb button here with a spring, and it allows it to come back. So I'm going to leave it in there for now, but it's kind of a neat little feature. Back in the day, that's the way they used to do it. To give it a little drag so it holds the choke on. But it's just a spring-loaded pin there in a hole. Yeah, and it puts a little pressure on the wire. Kind of a neat little thing. I got these oil trays knocked loose off the top of the rockers. So I'm just going to put that in the valve cover. Now these should just lift up theoretically, and they do. Well, they're pretty well oiled. Lots of oil dripping out of there. That's looking promising. Yeah, lots of nice oil. Now I know the common rule of thumb is to keep all these in line, but we ain't doing that. I'm just going to put them in the valve cover. That's pretty nice. Not one of them are stuck. I think the very first one that I tapped on over here was down, but when I tapped it, it sprung back up. So it was a little sticky, but it come back up, and all the rest are bouncing back up. And I can see, I don't know what the difference is right now, but it looks like, see how flat this washer is, this for the valve and the keepers to go in. This one and this one look like they're upside down, and this one looks like it's upside down. I'll look into that a little better when we get closer, but that's kind of odd. Okay, I got all the nuts off the manifold here, so let's pop that loose, see if we can. It is loose. And it's off there and it's not full. Take a look down in the ports. It does have some dry, looks like mouse food, you know, some fresher stuff up in this here top radiator entrance. There's a bit of mouse stuff there, but all in all, it's fairly clean compared to the bottom. These are the washers that I was talking about for to hold the. These are the washers I was talking about to hold the, like for the valves. This is nice and flat on top. This one is inverted, like it's upside down, same as the next one's inverted. Next one's flat, flat, inverted, and then flat. It's dirty, but it's flat and flat. So 3 of those are flipped upside down for some reason. We'll have to check into that. Okay, we got our sketchy forklift stinger boom assembly rigged up, and we're going to put a little up pressure on it and see if we can lift that head off. Lifting up. On first glance, outside of all the mouse food and living quarters and arrangements in all the ports, those cylinder walls don't really look that bad. This one here is still covered in diesel fuel. This one, the diesel fuel, I don't know if there was much in it, but there must have been, but it went down. This one here, there's not much in it. maybe also went down. This one here, full of sludge and crud. I don't know about it. I haven't put my hands in there yet, but I don't think it's going to be stuck that bad. This looks actually pretty good. The hardest part about this is to get rid of all that mouse nest. Let's go look at the head. Hanging over top of me here. But those combustion chambers, they look pretty darn good from this angle. I don't have good light on them there, but those valves are all loose. And so that's not going to be a darn problem. They look very nice, actually. They will clean up really nice. The big problem, again, is all the mouse food and living quarters that's hauled inside every darn water jacket port and oil port or whatever. Anyway, I'll get this down and put it on the bench so I can get a better look at it. I got the head gasket off and it's delaminated pretty bad, and it looks like it's got some old pry marks and stuff. This isn't all that I've done to it. So I'm really thinking that it's come off of the tractor at least once in its history and then just reused. And I think there's traces of, outside of mouse food, there is traces of gasket glue or shellac in the days they used to call it. And I'm noting right here, and I would be surprised if it didn't say made in the USA, not China. Curiosity getting the better of me. I put a white mark in line with the edge of this fan blade, and I put a block in that piston, and hopefully it's got to go down. So I'm going to see if I can hit it a few times and see if that fan moves. Okay, well, it's clear to me that it is moving, so that's really going to make my day, because this engine is not as stuck as what was I originally thought, not near as bad as the other engines I've had, like the old John Deere D. Overall, pretty satisfied with how things turned out with just a little bit of investigation here. Yeah, it's all looking good. It's going to be probably an easy thing to fix, so that's all we're going to do on this particular tractor here for now. I'll probably clean her up, put it away, put a cover on it, all that kind of stuff, and order some gasket kit. I guess it's from Olson Gaskets, and then we'll go forward with the carburetor and the mag and all that kind of stuff, and clean out the engine block and the head and whatnot. I don't think I'll have to do anything with the valves, and I'm not going to pull the pistons and anything if I can get it to roll over. So that's all we got for today. We will catch up to you later, hopefully on to the John Deere D. Okay, here we are at the 1925 McCormick Deering, and I can't believe it. I got this thing to turn over. Took the head off and managed to break it free, and it looks pretty good inside. It almost makes me want to lose interest in it. Not quite dead enough.